we have that same unfortunate thing, but it's so far away. We're not really paying attention to our death. We're not remembering death. We're acting like this vacation never ends, right? And we're living on autopilot, which autopilot is great. It helps you drive home without thinking too much. It helps you do your job and get good at your job and skills, but it also puts you in this path to survive, not thrive. And so this kind of, hey, you're going to die. Hey, this vacation is going to end. This kind of like slap across the face, wake up, is I think everybody needs. And that's why I started with death, because people connect with dying. It wakes them up. They're like, oh shit, you know, I got to take my life seriously. Like, what am I going to do? What if I was going to die in a month? Okay, I'm not going to die in a month, but I'm going to die probably in 30 years, 36 years. What am I going to do? Am I 20, 40? Like, you're open to a message, right? You're most open to change, a message, some sort of epiphany when death is on the line. When I say experience, I really mean your choices, right? Like, you make a choice. I have a choice. I can wake up. I can come on this podcast. I can drink water. Or I can drink a sugary drink, etc. And those choices drive our fulfillment, right? And they're different for each person, right? Somebody may be like, I'm maximally filled playing a game of chess. Somebody's like, it's swimming. For me, it's travel. For me, it's doing charity work and doing, you know, I make no judgment about what that is. But what I say is that life is the sum of your choices. Life is the sum of your experiences. Life is the sum of your positive experiences. And so if you're trying to get the most out of this life, let's make the high score positive life experiences. So let's maximize those, right? So now we have a metric that all of us can think about.
Something we're optimizing
for.
Right,
we're optimizing for, right? And so we have this kind of, it's a variable, right? And that variable means different things to different people, right? And different, you know, mixes, right? But we know we're solving for that, right? And if that, everybody kind of gets on board, like, I agree, right? I'd have anybody like, no, that's not what I want. I said, well, experience could be anything. It could be charitable. It could be hedonistic, right? For some of my friends, it's as many girls as they can get. Mm-hmm. And for some of my friends, it's as many lives they can impact and change in a positive direction, right? I cast no judgment. I just say, hey, what you're solving for, this is how we get the maximum.
What if somebody says, what do you want in life? And when they're asked that question, they find it very hard to answer.
That is the biggest trick, or the biggest requirement that's kind of not there in the book, right? We discuss it. You have to get off autopilot. You have to understand what fulfills you and what you want, right? And a lot of people, myself included, because I wrote the book to save my own life. So don't think that like I'm the Dalai Lama of like net fulfillment and I got it all figured out, right? I wrote this book to slap my own face to get off autopilot. But a lot of times, like, I have to get off autopilot on the sentence, like, what really do I enjoy? What really fulfills me? What would I really rather be doing now? What is just autopilot marketing inertia, right, in my life? You know, and if there is inertia in my life that I identify, I'm going to keep some of that inertia because it's okay. You know, it's good, it's fulfilling, but I need to dial it back. And what is that ratio, right? You know, usually after some traumatic event, I got fired or somebody died or my dad died or something, like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even really like this. You know, why am I here? You know, and they have this crisis because something snapped them off autopilot and they've looked at themselves and they realize how they're living is not what fulfills them, and it's not even how they want to be fulfilling. It's just how the autopilot of their life has taken off.
Why is life energy important?
It's life energy is the definition of life energy is really kind of like the time you have, right? The hours you have as a human being, as a functional human being, right? And so it's the only resource you really have. And when it's it, right? Your money can go, and we can still use the principles and die with zero to achieve fulfillment, right? Because then it becomes a life ordering problem, right? Do I visit my grandmother and go walk with my grandmother, or do I play cards with the boys, right? And the life, the optimization program would say, well, I can play cards with the boys for the next 10 years. Grandma's probably got 2. So it's probably time to do grandma stuff now, play cards with the boys later, right? I tell people, like, it's not in the book. Life is like Tetris. Everybody, you know the game Tetris? You know, I use the example. Let's say you're in heaven and you're about to be born, and God's like, here's the infinite bucket of experiences. Choose what you would like on your adventure. And you're like, okay, this sex thing seems interested. 10,000, maybe 15,000 times. Okay, I want to ride a bike. I want to get a job. I want to get graduated. I think I want to get married and have kids. Yeah, I want to marry and have kids. I want to these strip clubs. That's interesting. I'll throw in a couple of those. Biking. Yeah, I want to get an award. And, you just, whatever. I'm just making these things up, right? Play baseball. God goes, all right, you can have them all. The only one condition, you got to get the order right. And so the people that do the marriage thing and have kids and then put the strip club afterwards don't kind of get the high score, right? Because it interferes with it. These are dynamic decisions, right? Or they put the hella skiing Mount Kilimanjaro at 86. It's kind of in the wrong spot, right? They don't get fulfillment for it and they can't do it, right? They waited too long. They should put that there and then this there, right? They didn't get the order right. And so that's true for everyone, right? We have a lot of the order. There are certain places and certain time periods of our life where things are more optimal to happen. And if you don't put them in that time period, yes, maybe you can do them in another time period in your life, but it might be suboptimal and cause problems for other things around you. Or you might not be able to do them at all.
What do you think most people misunderstand about money and what it's for?
Yeah, I think I know I like to talk by analogies, but I think most people misunderstand that money is just a tool. People ask, does money make you happy? And I'm like, well, do hammers and saws build houses? They can build houses, but you need to know how to build a house, right? You use those tools to build your house. And a lot of people think the purpose is just to keep acquiring hammers and saws. They're like, look at all these hammers and saws I have. Oh, I got some nails and a nail gun and a so-and-so. And they keep acquiring all the equipment to build a house, right? Different shiny forms of it. I got these Swiss blades too and whatever. And they have a pile of fucking equipment to build a house. They don't build the house, right? And in this analogy, the house is happiness, right? So you need to know how to use those tools, right, in order to build a house. So there's a lot of people, you shower them with money and you think, okay, it's fulfillment, it's happiness. Go be happy. And they fuck it up because they don't know how to use the tool, right? They don't respect the tool. They don't understand the power of the tool. They don't know how to. This tool is for your fulfillment, right? These hammers, this is what you're supposed to do, is build a house with it, not collect hammers and saws.
Why is it that we find it so hard to spend money?
I think there's, I think one of the best arguments I've heard is that people have this kind of hedonic value, ego value associated with the number that they don't lose attachment with, right? It makes them feel good that they have this many zeros in the bank account, right? It's just like watching a show to them. And my argument is that, if you take a rat and you can train it to run in a wheel for cheese, right? You've seen these experiments, right? Runs in a wheel for cheese. Eventually, you could just show them the wheel and never give them the cheese. They'll just run. And that's kind of what I think a lot of work and the money, right? In the beginning, when you were young and you were close to fun and you went outdoors and you played and you interacted with people, etc., the money was to go to the event, to the college, to visit your friends, to go to the concert, right? It was the tool you needed to have to get beers, whatever, for your friends. Then you went to work and it was to pay your bills and need more or whatever. And it's the safety blanket and I need it for this. And you keep doing that. And then eventually we just take the reward away. The abstraction of money takes you away from what it was for, right? So at first it was just instant, the money goes in, it turns into a beer, you're hanging out with your friends, you're having fun. I need more of this stuff to get this activity. We're going to spring break. We're going here. We're traveling, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you're just accumulating it for future trips. I know it will do the thing, right? This abstraction, these power units, right? These tools. Yes, I'm going to build a house. I need more saws, more nails, more paneling, more whatever. You just keep doing it and you just don't build the house, right? Then you're all right, I built a small, tiny house. But hey, I got to build 10 more houses. I can build 30 more houses, thousands of houses, right? And you never really use it. You never really attach this abstraction to what it was for, to fulfill you, to get the stuff that drives your fulfillment.
I realized this yesterday over lunch with this friend of mine that I've just been introduced to, and he had a very interesting perspective on wealth generally. And I realized that there is shit tons of advice online about how to become rich and almost no advice online about how to be rich.
Yeah.
That accumulating wealth is taught, but enjoying wealth is not.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have friends in different areas that like, I'm going to get lambasted. We always say rich guys are the dumbest. Because at the end of the day, they found a thing in a niche and they've unlocked the key, right? Like it's like slaying the dragon, getting the treasure. They go through all this stuff and just treasure. We're just going to sit around and shine and take pictures of it. And that's it. Like that treasures will go out, get the girl, build a house, build a life. You know what I mean? Not to splash around in it, Scrooge McDuck style. And I think it's just conditioning and training. And you have to think like people who are successful have gotten really focused and really trained on doing something very well. And sometimes they do this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So all those other muscles, I'm going to call them muscles, like the go socialize with your neighbor muscle, the go travel and explore muscle, the discovery muscle, all those atrophy. And the only muscle they've been building is, I know how to conquer this vertical, right? I've conquered podcasting. I've conquered gym shorts, right? I've conquered real estate or whatever. And they just keep going and going. And they're absolute fucking beasts. But they now have forgot about life. Guys don't know how to say hi to their neighbors or invite somebody to dinner. They don't know how to pick a restaurant that it's not close to where they work. They don't know how to meet people. That's not a work function or a conference. They don't know, to travel? Is it a business meeting? They don't even know how to think of ideas. Like, wait, this is painful for me. It hurts. Like when you go to the gym and you haven't worked out well and you do it and it hurts. What it is for people like, oh, take a month off. They're like, I don't know what to do, And it's a natural, like I tell people, it's like, relax. It's a natural, it's relaxed. It's your first time back into humanity. It's your first time into, being you. You let that person die 10 years ago. Right. And so I think that habituation and that focus takes away from the rest of their corpus, right? The rest of their body. I'm talking about their holistic body, right? And so that atrophy is real and it takes a while to build it back up. And it's painful, right? Like when you see people on New Year's come in to the gym, they're not bullshitting. They really want to do it, right? They got the motivation. They want to do it. It's just fucking painful. Whereas for you go back in the gym, this is my routine, buddy. Here we go. I'm used to the pain. I'm used to the feeling, like the gains, etc. They don't see the gains. They just feel frustration, sweat, and pain. They're like, this shit sucks. And that's what it's like for like successful rich people. When it's like, okay, let's go be human. What? It hurts.